What's up, everybody? This is the Infinity Wars Academy. I'm going to be showing you guys how to beat all of the tutorials in the Infinity Wars Academy. They're all pretty straightforward, but I will even go through all these very simple ones at the very beginning, just in case you guys are a little confused about the Infinity Wars engine and how it works. This will be a tutorial for everyone. If you already know what you're doing, you can skip until the end of the Academy where things get a little bit more complicated. So, we are going to explain... There we go. How everything works in the game. The mechanics of the game. So, this is morale. Each player starts with a full morale bar. Whenever a player's creature dies, that player will lose some morale. If your morale ever reaches 0, you will lose the game. Be sure to look after your army. We have the Soldier of the Wall. All along the Great Wall of Jinhai, the soldiers look out along the Demon Wastes, guarding against a sea of evil. So, play a card. There you go. And we need to end our turn. We are up against Aleta. 2 unending drones come out. So, start of each turn, unending drone raises 1 other unending drone from your graveyard. Now, before we continue about Infinity Wars, the things you need to know about these cards. This is the character's power, the damage it deals in combat. This is the character's health, the total damage it can take. Rarity, edition, type of cards. This is a character card. It's also unlimited, so you can have as many of these on the field as you want. And it's artificial, which is a special type that could be important later to some cards. This is how much of resource it costs to play this card. Resources are shown up here. You can see I have 2 of 4 left. She has 0 of 4 left. Hand size. And the purity of the card. So you just need 1 Genesis Industries commander in order to use the unending drone in your deck. We'll get more into that later. Alright, so we were just gifted the Glorious Warrior, is what we drew. It's a human character. At the end of your turn, the Glorious Warrior is in combat zone. The opponent loses 4 morale. So each creature has a morale cost, shown just under the resource cost. This indicates how much morale that player will lose when the creature dies. Your opponent's unending drones have a morale cost of 1, so they'll lose 1 morale when it dies. There are many cards which interact with morale in strange and interesting ways. Try to use some of these cards to defeat your opponent. So you notice this guy takes 4 resources and will cost 8 morale if he dies. Let's go ahead and play him. And our Soldier of the Wall, 2 and 4. Go ahead and play you in the Assault Zone. Now this is your commander area right here. And you see the same thing over here. They have their own commander. So, we have 3 Aoshan Dragons of Wisdom. They're flying and they are unstoppable. So they can only be blocked by other flying characters. And when it destroys an opponent's character, it will continue until it has used up all of its power. At the start of your turn, if Aoshan Dragon of Wisdom is on the battlefield, you draw 2 cards. If Aoshan would die to a non-sacrifice effect, he becomes exhausted for the next 3 turns instead. Pretty powerful card, and this is 3 Descendants of the Dragon Commanders to be included in the deck. So it's a really powerful card. So let's go ahead and end. You see he sent out the unending drones, or she did. Our fortress took 4 damage from them, and we did 3 damage back. Now we have the Invincible Defender. If Invincible Defender is dealt combat damage but survives, the player is then dealt 4 morale damage. Let's go ahead and move our 2 guys out there. Also, you notice this guy went straight into play. He has Vigilance. Characters with Vigilance are played directly into defense. Go ahead and end. 4 unending drones. A little bit more damage. He takes some damage. He took some more damage. and a massive amount of morale damage was dealt to our opponent. Now, we both only started with 20. But because the Invincible Defender got hit twice, he holds on, or he lives and does 4 morale damage for each damage he took. For each hit he took, I should say, not for each damage. So Rally gives 15 morale. And we will go ahead and end our turn as the unending drones come out. So, there we go. Rally. Our morale goes up to 35. And just like that, immediately, the morale of Aletta has been crushed. There we go. Victory. Obviously, I've done this before, so I get 0 experience and 0 IP, but that's okay. What's up, everybody? Here we are on the second tutorial in the Infinity Wars Academy. This is where we learn about the trading post. Oh no, your fortress is about to be squashed by your opponent's massive character. If only you had a death ray to stop it. Luckily, the trading post is always open for business. The trading post houses several alternate ways for you to spend your resources, one of which being the ability to draw a card. Use the trading post in the bottom right of your screen to draw a new card. So trading post is located down here. Go ahead and use that to just pay 5, draw a card. You drew a death ray. What do you know? Play the death ray on this dude, which is hidden by clouds. Takes 15 morale damage when he dies, and it costs 12 to play. Pretty powerful card. They can also block characters with flying, even though it's not a flying character. At the start of each turn, Hidden Clouds is on the battlefield. Search your deck for a beast character and put it into play. So, let's go ahead and end our turn and see what happens when we use Death Ray. Death Ray! There goes Hidden by Clouds, and Aletta is instantly defeated. Pretty straightforward. So, I'm going to move right in to number 3 to show you guys more about these basic tutorials and about the game. We learned about simultaneous turns in this one. In this mission, you have the exact same cards as your opponent, so you're going to have to take advantage of Infinity Wars' simultaneous turns in order to succeed. All we can do is play our Varro Death Worshipper. So this is whenever an enemy character dies without being sacrificed, this card gets +2/+2. Can be very powerful if used properly. There's the other Varro Death Worshipper. We have the exact same hands. Death Ray. Actions in the resolution phase play out as follows. Both players play character cards and then move character cards. Both players play ability cards. Combat starts. So, you play your cards, and then you move your cards, and then ability cards like Death Ray follow, and then after everything has been resolved, combat starts. Death Ray will only work on targets on the battlefield, the assault or defense zone. Luckily for us, the characters are played or moved before abilities resolve. This means we target your opponent's character with our Death Ray. If he moves his character out of the support zone, it will destroy it. Use your Death Ray on your opponent's Varro Death Worshipper. So they mentioned the defense zone right here and the assault zones. I would rather not use my Death Ray, but it will make me use my Death Ray on their Worshipper. So it's not currently a legal target because it is in a support zone, just like ours. But we are predicting, because the game happens simultaneously, we are predicting that this Varro Death Worshipper is going to either be in the assault or the defense zone, not in the support zone. So we use our Death Ray on it, we'll take it out, and then we'll have the advantage. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen. We attacked with our Death Ray, but Death Worshipper did not come out of the support zone, so now we are in trouble. They have a Death Ray. We don't. So if your opponent wants to survive this turn, he's going to have to use his Death Ray on your Worshipper. Pull your Death Worshipper back to dodge the Death Ray. And now we also have the ability to do other things. So again, going back to the commanders we talked about before, we have some different commanders. Aleida, the Immortal Sorceress, unique, so you can only have one. If she's in the graveyard for 6 consecutive turns, she returns to play. And if we pay 4, we can deal 6 damage to target character in the combat zone. We're also allowed to play this turn Rita, the Shadow Priestess. At the end of every turn Rita's on the battlefield, create a 2/2 Worshipper character. Sacrifice a character, heal 5 damage from Rita, the Shadow Priestess. So, let's play Rita in the Assault Zone for 5. End our turn. And we just win. No problem. Pretty straightforward. If you pull your character back like you just saw, what we did in order to protect from a Death Ray, it will actually stop the Death Ray from happening, just like what happened to our Death Ray. Let's go into the final tutorial, or basic. Zone types. So, different cards can affect different areas of the field. In order to utilize your cards effectively, it's important to have an understanding of the different zones. The Mass Death card in your hand will destroy all creatures in a combat zone. The term combat zone refers to all attack zones and defense zones. Play your Mass Death now to turn the tides of the battle. Be sure not to put your Varroa Death Worshipper on the battlefield or it will die as well. So, it's talking about Mass Death. It costs 6 to play. It's an ability and it's magic. Kill all characters in the combat zone. Any characters you control that started in the turn of the combat zone cannot be moved this turn. So, if we started with Varroa Death Worshipper in the Assault Zone, and we play Mass Death, then then we would lose our Death Worshipper. So the game is notifying me here that if I keep my Death Worshipper out here in the Assault or Defense Zone, that it will die to Mass Death. It's not going to allow me to do that. So we'll go ahead and use Mass Death, end our turn, and the enemy no longer has units. We drew Word of Command. Target creature on the battlefield is forced to move to either Assault or Defense Zone. Word of Command is able to target any creature on the battlefield. The term battlefield refers to all attack zones, defense zones, and support zones. These cards can be used to deal with pesky support characters. Try and use Word of Command on the character in your opponent's support zone. Let's move our Death Worshipper up, and then you can see the character we're talking about is Brings Life by Passing. As long as Brings Life by Passing is on the battlefield, you have 1 extra resource. Well, that seems annoying, so let's use our Word of Command and lock this one into defense for this turn. So our Death Worshipper will destroy our Brings Life by Passing. There is a one of many. There we go. The Brings Life by Passing is now in defense, and the Death Worshipper has been played. Now we draw Assassinate. Unfortunately, powerful men have decided you will die. Killing target character, your max resource decreases by 2. And we were given 3 extra cards to help finish off the game. Assassinate is a powerful ability which can target any cards on the field. All cards inside an attack, defense, support, or command zone are considered in play. If I wanted to, I could assassinate that guy. Be hidden by clouds. You can use Assassinate to kill commanders. I'm not going to do that because there are better options. Like Candid, the head researcher. Candid comes into play, draw 2 cards. Well, that sounds like a pretty good deal, so let's go ahead and play her. And we can't really do anything else, so we'll end our turn. Another one of many appears. And we were able to draw 2 more cards. Take 8 damage, deal 10 damage. Another Death Worshipper. So, the other cards we have are Grotesque Brute. They cannot block, and if you pay 5, they're invincible. We're also allowed to play our Demon of Gluttony. It is flying, and if we sacrifice a character, Demon of Gluttony gets +8/+8. You can only do this once per turn, and it will only attack if you've sacrificed a character. So if we play Demon of Gluttony down and sacrifice, it becomes 24/24, +10/+10. And the only way we can sacrifice is if we give up our Candid Head Researcher, which we need to push the tide, otherwise we can only do 34 damage. Not quite enough. So, let's use our Death Ray. Take that guy out. And make some moves like that. Throw down some Death Worshippers and a Head Researcher. The one of many stayed out on the battlefield. The Death Ray will take it out. There we go, 16/8, no problem. We have another Death Worshipper, but all we need to do is 19 damage. So if we move our 2 Death Worshippers over here, Demon of Gluttony, and then sacrifice her, so that he becomes a 24/24 flying. The only way we can be stopped is if the Hidden by Clouds comes out in defense. But that's not going to happen because it costs 12 to play, and there's only 6 resources available for her. We can throw everybody into defense except for the Demon of Gluttony, which is going to strike hard. Jungle Giant can block characters with flying, but it came a little bit too late for Aletta. Eat the Head Researcher. And GG. Just like that. Aletta has been destroyed, and that is all of the beginning ones. Now, there's one more thing you've noticed, I'm sure by now, as you've watched me flip through these. I go to Basic, and there's a Basic Trial. This is just a simple match that uses what you've learned in these 4 tutorials and throws you into one game. I'm not going to play that for you guys. I've already beaten it. I have no reason to play it for you guys because it's just a basic, easy match. So the next area is going to be Intermediate, where I also have the Intermediate Trial. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys Intermediate in the next episode. So as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time on Intermediate.